back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jacqueline and I'm making videos every week on a whole variety of stuff, lifestyle, beauty, adventure, and I upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, so I hope you'll subscribe and stick around for all of our adventures here. And today I'm going to be talking about prepping for a hike. So most of you know, if you don't know, if you're new here, I am actually a nature photographer, landscape and nature photographer. I have my own Etsy shop. It's always linked below if you want to buy any prints and support me. That'd be amazing. But so since I am a landscape and nature photographer, most of our weekends are spent hiking and going out into nature to capture my images for my shop. And a lot of our vlogs, if you've ever watched any of my vlogs, will also are mostly around our hikes as well. And so I wanted to share a little insight that I've gained over the past few years of hiking on what to do to prepare for your hike. This is not by any means about camping or mountaineering or any of that stuff. This is like strictly how I prepare for my day hikes. Backpacking and camping and mountaineering is a whole different situation that I don't know anything about yet. So strictly day hiking, but this is kind of what I do to get ready for my hiking. So let me just pull up my little cheat sheet that I wrote out things I want to talk about. So basically I take 5 steps to get ready for my hiking, and the first one starts months, not years, whatever, it doesn't matter how long you've been training, but is training for a hike. So you can do this in like lots of different ways, however you like to work out, but definitely make sure you're working out. You know, it's good for your overall health, but it'll also help you go on longer and longer hikes. And so you can really reach those summits and see even more beautiful things out in nature. Obviously you don't have to go on a hike to a summit of a mountain to get beautiful images and see beautiful things. Some hikes are very easy, but you still should train for them. You should definitely, start with those easier hikes, work your way up, go out on walks every day. I personally love to work out. I've talked about it before. I train 5 days a week at the gym. I just love to work out, and I find that this really helps prepare me for those hikes. I train legs and upper body and my abs, and hiking really does incorporate your whole body. You need all of it. You need really good leg strength. You need good core strength so you can balance and you don't fall. You need good upper body strength to carry your pack. All that fun stuff. You really do need it all to hike. And so I find that working out 5 days a week really helps me prepare for my hikes. I also take a lot of walks with my dog Tahoe during the week in preparation for our hikes. We go on shorter hikes around local parks like Dash Point Park and Point Defiance and along Reston Way and stuff like that, just to keep our health and fitness up and our endurance up, so the hikes are just a little bit easier. I think cardio is also super important in preparing for hikes. I personally hate cardio. I hate running. So I mostly do like the Stairmaster, which I think has really been helping my cardio for hiking. I tend to do like interval training on the Stairmaster for it. Me and Matt love to bike as a form of cross training. Stuff like that. Whatever gets you out and moving, do it. Whatever you like to do, it always is good. So that's my first step in prepping for a hike. So the second thing to do when you're prepping for a hike is to figure out where you're going. It might sound simple, but you want to think about things like, do I need a pass? So in Washington State, you have state forests and you have national forests, and each one needs a different pass. If you're just going to a state forest, you might need the Discovery Pass. If you're going to a national forest, you might need a National Parks Pass, and those come in different levels. For example, we have an America the Beautiful Pass, which we get for free because we are a military family, so definitely look into things like that. I know students get a discount. I think senior citizens get a discount. Children under a certain age, you get a discount, stuff like that. So just do your research and know what kind of pass you want to use. There's also things like, can you bring your dog with you? We take our dog Tahoe hiking with us all the time. He's our constant companion on the hikes. And some trails don't allow animals. I know national forests tend not to allow animals, like Mount Rainier, or national parks, not national forests, national parks. National parks don't allow animals. So if we want to go to Mount Rainier, we have to leave Tahoe at home. Are there restrictions on like where you can park? Stuff like that. You just got to figure all that out before you go. A great resource that we always use is the WTA. I'll leave their website down below, but it is WTA.org. I always mess that up. And this is specifically for Washington State. It's the Washington Trail Association. And they have an amazing website that you can literally put in different things you want to look for on hikes. So say you want to go for no more than 6 miles with no more than 700 feet elevation gain, you want to bring your dog and you want to see wildflowers, you can all put that all into the WTA and it'll pop out hikes all across Washington that you can go on for those particular criteria. And then when you do find a hike and you click into it, at the very top there'll be little logos, and I'll tell you different things about the hike. So like I said, like if you can bring a dog, there'll be a little dog icon. If there are wildflowers out, if it's a good place to see wildflowers, it'll have a little flower icon, stuff like that. It'll also tell you right there at the top if you need a pass, if it's the Discovery Pass, the National Forest Pass, or no pass at all. I'll tell you all that stuff. And then down below it gives you a brief description of the hike, kind of what you'll see, what to expect on the hike, if it has switchbacks, if it is kind of level and then goes really high into the elevation and then levels out again, if it's a steady hike, all that kind of stuff. It tells you all of that. And then it'll also give you directions to the trailhead, which is really nice. Sometimes the directions are a little bit off, so we always put it in our GPS and have the WTA up, because I find that combo usually works, but not always. Like the GPS doesn't always get it right and WTA doesn't get it right, but if we have both of them together, we tend to get there okay. So I love to use the WTA. I know my husband loves to use All Trails, which is another great resource. I personally don't use it. I found it kind of confusing, but he has the app on his phone, so he'll pull up the hike before we leave. And the nice thing about the All Trails app is that even if you're not connected to the internet or you don't have service, as long as you've had it pulled up, it will still be able to track you through GPS, and you'll still kind of know where you are on the hike and make sure you're still going the right direction, which is really nice. So I definitely recommend that app as well if you can figure it out. Like I said, I personally can never figure it out, so my husband has it on his phone, but it's a great resource as well. So the third thing I do in preparation for my hike is check the weather. Once again, this might seem silly, but I see so many people on the trails that are clearly not prepared for the weather that we have. They don't have enough layers, their shoes aren't proper shoe wear, footwear, whatever you want to call it, stuff like that. So I always like to check the weather of where we're going the morning of, because especially in Washington, we live in Tacoma, and if we're going to the Cascades, the weather's going to be completely different in the Cascades, even though it's like only an hour away. The weather's going to be completely different there than it is here where we live. So I like to go onto the Weather Channel, whatever weather app you like is fine, and I type in the actual destination we're going and check the weather there. And this really just helps me plan what I'm going to wear, what I'll need, and stuff like that. So I find checking the weather an essential part of my hiking preparation. So that is definitely step number 3 for me. And then the last 2 steps kind of go together. So first of all, I'm going to get dressed, make sure I have proper apparel on. If you guys want to see a whole hiking lookbook, I can for sure do that. But for now, I'll just kind of say this. Depending on the weather, it's going to depend on what I wear. So if it's the middle of summer, it's going to be hot. The weather tends to heat up very quickly in the Pacific Northwest. It stays pretty cool in the morning, but the minute that sun breaks through, it'll get nice and warm. So if we're going on a hike in the summer, I definitely like to wear shorts, a tank top, and then throw a sweatshirt on, so that way I'm not cold in the beginning of the hike, but I can then take it off and be perfectly comfortable towards the end and middle of the hike. So I definitely recommend layers no matter what time of year it is. But because I check the weather, I'll be able to know it's going to rain, so I'm going to need my rain jacket. Oh, it's going to be a lot colder out there, so I'm going to need my full jacket, and maybe I'm going to wear my leggings. If it's going to be hot out, I'm going to wear a lighter weight sock than if it's cold. Stuff like that. If it's rained the past few days and I know it's going to be muddy, I definitely want to wear my waterproof boots. I always wear my waterproof boots, but maybe you don't like to wear your heavy hiking boots every time, so stuff like that. I definitely just want to make sure you have proper apparel on as well. And then the final step is to make sure I have all of my hiking gear together. So I've made a video about what's in my backpack before, but I will kind of revamp it right now here. I don't have my backpack with me. If you're curious about like specifics, brands and stuff that are in my backpack, definitely go check that video out. I'll have it up here and down below as well, because it hasn't changed too much. But I definitely want to make sure the bladder in my the water bladder in my backpack is full. Hydration is key on a hike. You definitely don't want to be stuck without enough water. I make sure I have a snack in there, whether we made sandwiches for the day, a granola bar, something to munch on just in case you get hungry, some extra Gatorade maybe. If you tend to get dehydrated quickly, you definitely want to make sure you're replenishing those electrolytes. I always make sure I have a first aid kit in my bag. Me and my husband both carry a little mini first aid kit that's good for 3 uses. We've only used it once so far, and we just used like the tweezers out of it, so it still like has plenty of stuff in it. So we both have those in our backpacks. We always carry our hiking spikes with us, especially in the winter. They're good for the summer too if it's like muddy and you need a grip a little bit better. It's good for that. But in the winter, if there's snow, hiking spikes are essential, especially when it gets all like pressed down and kind of starts to turn icy. The hiking spikes will help you kind of grip into that so you don't slip around so much. What else do we carry in our backpacks? I'm trying to think. I think those are like the big key things that we always carry in our backpack. We always pack extra layers, stuff like that. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, I always bring all of my photo equipment, obviously, since I am a photographer. So if you're curious about the equipment I use while I'm hiking, I'll leave that video up in the corner and down below as well. I have a whole video on that kind of stuff. But that's kind of how I prep for hikes. But yeah, like I said, if you want to see a hiking lookbook, I can for sure do that as well. I have so much that I wear out on hikes. And I can definitely share like specifics with you guys in that video if you want to see that. But this is just kind of what I personally do to prepare for my hike. I try to keep it really simple and easy, but also make sure I have the most information I can and have all the equipment I need and stuff like that. Make sure I'm not unprepared for the hike. So that makes sense for this video. But I hope you guys enjoyed this hike. We are not in a hike. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you learned something if you're starting to hike or you're just getting into hiking or whatever. I hope this helps you kind of get an idea of where to start looking and what to start doing for your own hike. If you have any questions, please leave them below in the comments for me and give this video a like if you enjoyed it. And yeah, subscribe if you want to. I would love to have you join our adventures here. And yeah, I think that's it for this video. So I'll see you in my next adventure. Bye.